The last few months I've been learning how to make my own paper building kits, and in this video I'll show you the first house that I'm kind of proud of. I'm not saying it's perfect because it's my first. You can download it for free using the link in the video description. If you want, you can make a small donation, I'd really appreciate it, but you don't have to. Anyway, this is a typical South African house. I'm planning to make more buildings from other countries as well, but I still have a lot to learn before that. Anyway, this video will focus more on how to build the house, not so much on how it was made, because it's a quite complex process and it would make this video way too long. But if you want me to make a video explaining how it was made, just let me know in the comments. Now to start, here is a few things you'll need to build a house. First, a sharp hobby knife, some glue that works good for gluing paper, also a ruler and some tweezers. Also, I recommend you print the house on at least 160 GSM paper. I printed this on 240 GSM paper, which is almost cardboard. Now let's get started. You'll want to start with page 1 and cut out the floor plan. You could also use some scissors, but a hobby knife and ruler makes it quite easy to get nice and straight cuts. Once you are done, move to page 2 with the walls and windows. Before cutting them out, you need to score along all the dotted lines to allow all the flaps and walls to fold easily and precisely. To do this, I use the back of my hobby knife like this. You can see these bricks are not very detailed. That's because the only printer that I had access to that could print on this thick paper was quite cheap and the print quality was not the best. But the textures that I made are very high resolution. So if you print this using a better printer, it will look very nice. Anyway, if you don't look up close, it actually looks quite good in my opinion. If you want the walls to have a more three-dimensional look, you have the option to cut out the windows and replace them with the included ones. Or you can make your own if you want to do that. I'm planning to make more realistic windows and also maybe have different options. But for now, this is what I have. I tried coloring in the white edges of the paper, but after I did this 2 times, I threw the half dry marker in the trash where it belongs and continued with the windows. This is how I glued them on. One thing I also had to fix is the windows overlapping as you see here, so if you build a house you won't have this problem. Now with all the windows done, you can cut out the walls. With the numbers indicating where each wall needs to go, I think it's quite straightforward to know how to bend the walls and glue them on. I did not add the interior wall because I forgot to add markers to indicate where to glue it in, but that has also been fixed, so if you want the house to have a bit more rigidity, you can glue it in. It will also help support the roof. I made this animation so you can see how the roof works. This is the inner structure of the roof and the roof texture will then be glued onto this. I also made the roof removable, if you want to make an interior for the house or something. I don't know, more options are better, right? The roof was quite complex to design, but I can confidently say As long as you cut accurately, it will all fit perfectly. It was designed to be built using 200 GSM paper, but I'm using 240, so it can be a bit off. But it's all in margin of error, so don't worry about it. Recently, I've been thinking about live streaming while designing some buildings and textures. I think for me it can be a cool way to practice my English. You can ask questions and I can get immediate feedback on whatever I'm making. Let me know in the comments what do you think. The inner structure fits in the walls like this. The roof texture will next be glued on top. The overhang of the roof will prevent it from falling into the walls. When cutting out the roof texture, I cut off the flaps because they are not needed. By the way, don't forget to score these as well. The rest is quite straightforward. Cut out all the rest of the roof texture pieces, but don't cut out the roof caps. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, only cut them out once the roof is done, and then also only cut them out as you glue them on, so that you don't get confused as to where they go on the roof. This was the first time I've actually built the house, so I wasn't 100% sure it was all gonna work out. So I was very relieved when everything fitted so perfectly. Now let's move on to the capping. The first piece has an arrow that shows in which orientation it should go on. This is a quite fiddly and time-consuming thing to do, but it was definitely worth it for me. All the pieces are numbered so you know where to glue them on, and once they are glued on, the numbers are covered up so they are not visible. Now you should probably spray the house with some sort of clear matte varnish, but I don't have that, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I learned so much while making this house and I'm super excited to make more buildings and make videos about it. I'm gonna try to make around 2 buildings per month along with my normal videos. I think these paper building kits have a lot of potential, because they can be made to look very realistic and people can print it out themselves, if they have a printer, which most people do. And then they can build it in a day or two and have a quite cheap but very realistic building. So please let me know what do you think in the comments. But that's it for this video, thank you so much for watching, I'll see you next time, bye.